G'day everyone, Brian here, just going to do my review of Tigergarh Wildlife Resort. This is our second time here, first time was in 2019. And before I get into a more in-depth review of Tigergarh, our first time here we stayed with Bandhavgarh Jungle Resort, and then after that King's Lodge here, which is a property a couple of doors down from this one. So I just wanted to say, if you're going to stay at either of those, I can recommend those too. If that's your choice, I can recommend all of them, or both of those, as well as this. So I'm quickly going to I class all of them as mid-range properties. The one that is more in style with Tigergarh is Bandhavgarh Jungle Lodge. Just the way it's set up, it's a bit smaller property, the look of the rooms and the outside and the buildings and things like that. King's Lodge is a larger property, and that's probably one of the main features. So other things they have in common is extremely helpful staff and management. Go out of their way to help you. Professional and fantastic food. It's all been Indian home style food. They've got those in common. So again, you'll be happy with the other two if you decide to. They've all got 5-star reviews on booking.com and TripAdvisor and Google reviews and stuff like that. So let's get back into Tigergarh while we've come back here again and not gone to the other two. Okay, let's start with the owner, Gagan, G-A-G-A-N. Down to earth, warm, friendly, a true lover of nature. In fact, this property is his passion project. He gave up a corporate life to build and start this resort. He also founded a couple of NGOs here to support local community, and one of the projects is to help women in small business here. Now, you probably hate me to say this, but he's a bit of a Gandhi-like figure if you ever get to meet him. He's just got that demeanour about him. Before I forget, I'm going to also thank the staff that look after us the most here, all the staff, but Anu, Dinesh and Manut, thank you for our stay this time. Let's get into a bit more about the property. The rooms are large, king beds, AC, heater, large bathrooms. They have a kind of a wet style bathroom here in a lot of the properties in India. So there's no shower screen, but the shower head and that is set well back from the toilet and that sort of thing. But it's kind of a standard practice in a lot of places here in India. As I said, TV, we'd never get time to watch it with all the videos that we're editing and culling and photographic editing and stuff like that. But there is a TV there. Wouldn't even know what's on them. They've got a big generator here. The power cuts as well. Internet is improved, but it's really around the towers here. There's nothing the resorts can do. It's really whatever the state government puts in here. But they were talking about a tower being built here nearby on the hill, and it would seem that went ahead. I haven't asked yet, but it was like dial-up speed in 2019, and now in the room it's iffy. But Nicole, she has been posting on Instagram and videos even as well as photos, stuff like that, doing a few work emails. I wouldn't say this is a work from home type place. I'm not sure what properties here would be. The internet reception up here on the rooftop terrace and down in the around the reception area, wherever's closest to the routers, and of course depends how many people are using internet at the same time, because they're all using the same router as to the speed. But I get around 3 to 4 bars out of 5 when I'm here on the rooftop terrace above the reception area. The food, as I said, is home style Indian cooking, and it's brilliant. Like, we get a lot of vegetarian stuff here. The main meat is chicken in India. They closed down the last abattoir, I believe, when I was here in 2019. You probably weren't going to get beef here anyway. It's just, it's India. It's awesome. Just the way it is. But, we get vegetarian options here, and it's the only place I would to me where I can just eat this all the time. So there's vegetarian meals or vegetarian elements to it, but it's Indian home style and it's fabulous. And I did ask, by the way, whether they dumbed it down for us tourists from places like Australia and the US and that sort of thing. I know there are a lot of people that like hot, spicy food, and what we're eating is what all the other Indian guests eat as well. So it's manageable for us. I've got to admit, we did a bit of a recce. We've been kind of putting chili flakes in a lot of our meals at home just to kind of get used to. We're also heading off to Thailand for a few months as well, but just to kind of get used to it. But they don't dumb it down for us either. So if you're worried about that, their style, and as I'll tell you here, just saying Indian doesn't really cut it. That's just someone from Australia, the way we say it, Indian. There's 1,000 different styles of food in India and the way they prepare even the same things. But the food here has always been great. And we've been here 6 nights now, and at lunch and dinner, we get a Indian dessert. And they're not these huge things like you'd get, a giant piece of pie with ice cream. And they're these small desserts that pretty much feels like it's all you need afterwards. We've never had a single dessert that's the same yet. Now, as far as the portions that you get, the sizes, I guarantee you're going to tap out well before they're stopping serving you. There's that much food here. You will not go hungry. Don't bother bringing snacks. If you do, I'm not sure what you'll be doing with them, because you will not need them. So breakfast is done out on the morning safari, and then it's Indian style breakfast. So you might have some sort of vegetarian, like I'll give you an example. Say samosa. It may not be samosa, but something like that. Boiled eggs, some sandwiches, juice, along those lines. Lunch is about 1:30ish, and then dinner, we have dinner at 7:30. We're normally beat by then, so it's a long day. You do almost 8 hours of safari here in winter out in the reserve. So we're normally beat. So but you can 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's not unusual. So they're kind of the meal times here. They organise you can organise safaris out. You can just pay for the lodge, the accommodation and the meals if you want to, and then organise, if you have someone that you want to use, that you've got a driver or tour company that organises the driver for you out into the you do that separately, but we book it all as a package. So Tigergarh organises, we just tell them our flights, they organise the transfer from Jabalpur airport to the lodge and back. The transfers are kind of they call them taxis here, but they're not like a cab like we would know. They're like an SUV style. We were in like a Toyota style SUV. So they organise that, and your drives into the reserve morning and evening. You don't have to have them. You can have a day of rest. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. So they organise that for you as well. Then we got organised a single driver on the last trip, and we asked for the same driver again. So we got the same driver for 8 days. If you're going to stay here, I recommend asking for Pinku, Rajiv Singh. I'm going to do a bit of a video about Pinku because he's such a fab driver, but I recommend asking for Pinku. Guy knows the preserve like the back of his hand. Fantastic driver. Been here in the park and guiding and driving for over 20 years. Let's get down the brass tacks. One of the biggest reasons, because obviously we'd never met the staff or the owner before we came last time. Compared to the other two I mentioned, value for money. As I said, they're all kind of in mid-range. There's a few high-end lodges here as well in Bandhavgarh, so this one I think is kind of mid-range. Now, not including safaris, let's just look at your overnight stay, your meals here at the lodge. We pay about half as I would in Bandhavgarh Jungle Lodge. And I only looked at their rates recently just to see the comparison again, to see if things are kind of that. So about half. King's Lodge is probably 2.5 to 3 times more for the stay. And the one thing here, when we get back to the drives, is some of the, I'm not saying which ones, you have to look into yourself, but I know King's Lodge did. And what they do is they do shared drives. So you pay for a vehicle, but if you want to have it for only 2 people, like we do as a couple, we've got our photographic gear, you have to pay extra to do private. So you either, if you're a couple, the standard rate is if there's another couple, for instance, there, so 4 in the vehicle, that's the rate for the vehicle for the day. But if you want less people, just 2, some of the lodges, and King's Lodge was one, they charge you more. We didn't even ask for it. We had no idea. We thought we were just going to share when we come to Tigergarh the first time, and we're not paying any extra, I can tell you. He does very good value for the far. He doesn't charge some weird wacky price above, because the government sets a price for the gate entry and the driver fee or the guide fee. It's all set, and I know that Gagun doesn't overcharge beyond what that is, so we're not paying any more for our private vehicle. So anyway, guys, second time here, can't see any reason why I would stay anywhere else but Tigergarh. So thanks to the team here, hope that's helpful. Head over to India, it's an awesome place. Take care, bye for now.